Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Brady from Elite Weather Forecast here, and tonight I'm going to be doing a video on the upcoming severe weather event, multi-day severe weather event coming up this weekend, tomorrow and Saturday. It's going to be an interesting ride of severe weather, and without further ado, let's get started. So we get a slight risk in effect for tomorrow. I think this will get up to enhanced. Those are just my initial thoughts. I'd be surprised if it didn't go enhanced tonight. And I don't know if they'll add a signature to the tour. Bad choice of words right there. I don't know if they'll add a 10% sig to hear a significant chance for tornadoes, but it's about a chance for significant tornadoes. I don't know why I keep doing that, but there could be potentially a Sig Tor or two tomorrow, so that's something we're going to have to watch for. And there's also a slight chance for wind, 15% there, and also some large hail is definitely possible tomorrow. So that will be concerned as there is a hatched risk in effect. So definitely we'll need to be watching that for sure. The DFW is included in this slight risk, and also included in a 2% Tor risk as well. And they are also included in the hatched hail risk. So that will be something we'll be looking at for tomorrow. It looks like the main hail risk will be from East Texas into Mississippi, and also I think there's something to look out for in northern Texas and Oklahoma as well that we'll be getting into in a second here. And then day 3, we're going to be looking at a potential, I think this will go at least enhanced Saturday. It wouldn't shock me if we saw, ended up seeing a moderate come day 1 because of, a little surprise, or not a surprise, but a little uptick in the models. It wouldn't surprise me if we were to see something there as well. I don't want to say like it's definitely going to go moderate or even has a good chance to become moderate, because it doesn't at this point. But it wouldn't surprise me eventually if we get to the point where we might see a moderate risk for severe weather. So yeah, impactful severe weather days coming up. So let's take a look at the HRR here. I want to try to quickly go along because I've been killing too much time, wasting too much time here in this video instead of getting to the point. But we can see instability starts to increase throughout the day. We click on a sounding here. This is 17Z. We've got some decent instability, and we've got some turning of the winds here. Do have a nice Tor sounding here. So this is around 1 p.m. Eastern. So this is a new. God, I don't know my central time zones this well. Yeah, this is late morning, early afternoon. This is a sounding here, so we get instability building. Helicity isn't impressive, but it is a Taurus signature, so we do have to look out for potentially some isolated tornadoes in the early afternoon hours. But then we can really see instability start to kick off here, and we can see the dry line developing. And it looks like it's going to become a pretty messy storm mode. If we take a look here at reflectivity, it looks like it's going to become a pretty messy storm mode off the dry line, and maybe some discrete supercells in there. As we start off with the maybe a little bit of a multicellular line potentially. But we can kind of see this get messy, but then we can start to see some discrete ones developing. I'm going to want to zoom in here to Oklahoma, because we can really start to see some interesting stuff happening. Watch as we get this. We get this comma-shaped storm system that's going to help carve out some nice storms as well in the afternoon for Oklahoma. Kind of see some discrete action happening there across North Texas, so that'll be something to look for as well. And then maybe a bow echo then develops after that. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, but we can see, Mississippi needs to watch out. That looks really messy, really, really, really messy according to the HRR here. I'd be surprised if that produced. If we were to verify like this, I'd be surprised. just it would be cutting off a lot of inflow and for the ability for storms to potentially go tornadic. So this is the significant tornado perimeter. This is not the first thing I always like to go to, but it's just kind of shows a little bit of what the tornado threat could be like. So it looks like it could get interesting here. I like one thing I like the Sig Tor on parameters for. It helps me identify where I want to look for my sounding straight away. That's what makes it easier. And even it's cheating, but if I'm short on time or something, I just take a look at the environment. It's not a bad thing to look at. But you gotta know when it's spitting out the right stuff. Sometimes it's an equation, so it's gonna take things for literally for what it is. So it could be really like a derecho event, and the soundings aren't that good, but it shows the Sig Tor parameter off the charts. That might not exactly be accurate, but we can take a look here at damn it, where did I take this sounding? Northeast Texas, just south of DFW. We get a nice Tor sounding here. We can see a decent hodo, not a ton of low level shear, but be enough to get it done, just enough, I think. We have some decent backing of the winds, not incredible, but we do have some veering of the winds, and it is enough. Um, Again, not great backing of the surface winds, but it would be enough to get the job done. We can see capping not an issue, in fact, pretty good actually. Kind of what you want to see for a discrete storm mode. Anything under -70 typically you can have a shot, and we're at -30 SIN-H right now, so that's a good thing to look for. Plenty of cape. Cape will not be an issue tomorrow. Over 3,000, as you can see in this sounding. Um, Pretty good sounding right there. So we can also see not much of an EML. There is some mid-level dry air, obviously we can see there, but not a crazy EML for sure. Elevated mix layer. Um, so this is hour 25. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon here in the DFW, just south of DFW. Um, Fairly interesting. Let's take a look here at southwestern Oklahoma. Take a look at a sounding here. Interesting hodo. We have some really, really nice backing of the of the surface winds. Really good cape around 3,000. But look at the capping. I'm not sure if that would be able to get down. I can't guarantee that there. So a bit of a capped environment. It looks like almost a 25 on the supercell composite, which is very impressive. But this overall of a decent sounding, not a ton of shear though. The shear profiles are not great in this. I would like to see those a little bit higher if you were looking to chase a tornado tomorrow. Um, one thing we're looking at as well. But overall, the threat for tornadoes will be there. Um, let me pull a sounding for Louisiana here from the HRRR. I think the Nam is a bit more bullish. And that has a decent hodo as well. Yeah, capping is fine. Can get the job done easily. Helicity is alright. Around 300 surface to 3 kilometers. 70-degree dew points. Plenty of moisture. That's not going to be a problem. Not great backing though of the surface winds. I would like to see that. There's not a lot of veering. Not a lot of turning of the winds. In other words, in the sounding. So that's not the most incredible thing. Critical angle, 46 degrees. That's you typically want to look for those right moving supercells that are closer to, that have a critical angle closer to 90 degrees as well. So yeah, I mean it is a right mover, but you want to see those critical angles closer to 90 degrees typically. That's not set in stone by any means, but that's just something you can look for. So it looks like there could be some tornado action. If we get because the instability is going to be there tomorrow, so enough Cape can definitely help outdo the low shear profiles potentially. And then we'll take a look at the Nam here for tomorrow as well. Gonna try and go quick here. Um, we can see again shows instability building, a little bit more instability maybe than what the HRR was showing, maybe just a little bit. Um, but overall, still, let's take a look here. Boom, look like some nice turning on the winds. Marginal. Hodo is not bad, but we get a capped environment right there. Um, yeah, that looks just a little bit too capped in order for anything to happen. Potentially lots of instability. Good backing of the surface winds. The Hodo looks actually decent. The shear profile isn't unbelievable, but the environment where it capped, I'd say, could be enough to get it done for sure. To see a tornado. Again, the main threats are large hail. See all the instability there. The large hail is absolutely a threat. Um, we're also going to be looking at the damaging wind threat as maybe a bow echo develops potentially later in the night. So that is something we're going to have to watch for uh, as well. And I'll just slide here just so I can get some soundings. I'm doing a video here and I'm trying to go as quick as possible. So the quicker I can see the soundings, the better for you. So we're going to slide here into central / southeast Texas. So overall, not overly impressed with the low level shear here in this photograph, but we can see overall. Uh, we're talking uh, a very impressive amount of Cape here too, around 3,200 joules almost. That is something you'd like to see, and there definitely is some mid-level dry air, definitely in the sounding for sure. Okay, backing of the surface winds. Overall, an okay sounding for sure. I think the Hodo is fairly impressive, but I would like to see uh, maybe a couple more loops or so, or maybe a little bit more low level shear. That would be something I'd be looking for because the shear profile um, isn't fantastic at the lower levels of the atmosphere in this loop. But one thing we're going to be looking for, we're looking for uh, the low level jet. That's one thing we will be looking for tomorrow. We see 850 millibar winds get going, but then they really start to develop again overnight once we move towards the Dixie, and that's what's going to increase the tornado threat there. So I wonder if we get anything there. Yeah, we can see really impressive um, photographs, just not much Cape to call for. So it's not really not really great sounding for that reason. So now we're going to shift to day 3, which will be day 2 after tonight. But and take a look at the tornado threat over there. So we're going to watch here. We can see our low level jet kind of get going, and watch it really get going over Alabama and Mississippi. Here we're looking at a low level jet 65, 70 plus knots here. And the NAM even had it going like we're talking 85, 90 knots earlier today too. And we can still see the low level jet fairly impressive all the way through South Carolina and North Carolina around 50 to 60 knots, which will allow for still decent shear profiles all the way across the southeastern U.S. Take a look at the Cape here, convective available potential energy here, and there's going to be plenty of Cape to go around on Saturday for sure. We can kind of see here. Look at the Cape going into Mississippi. I mean, my goodness, that's a lot of energy. We were talking about, take a look here, 4,000 joules of cape. If the low level shear was there, this would be of a rather impressive Tor sounding, and also a little bit more better backing of the surface winds. But there's going to be a lot of instability um, here on Saturday. Let's take a look here, and this is what you're looking at. Look at the EMLs we're looking at here. Just very impressive. 3,400 joules of cape, not being capped in the environment, which might mean it might be a little bit messy, depending on. To take a look at storm mode, see what it shows on reflectivity a little bit to get an idea. Which isn't always the best way to go, but gives you some idea. And we can see helicity is fine as well. STP is impressive at 7.0. Look at all the loops happening on our photograph here. This would be very intense tornado sounding here for sure. And if I'm just going to cheat here, just so you can get an idea, the Sig Tor parameter here, I think the tornado threat will exist from Mississippi and Alabama, and across Georgia, and also South Carolina, and even maybe southeastern North Carolina. Saturday night into early Sunday morning potentially. Could be a nocturnal threat for South Carolina. So that will be something we definitely need to watch for. Lots of good loops going on in this photograph. Decent low-level shear profile as well. The environment is not capped. We get 3,000 joules of cape. This is definitely a very good tornado sounding. There's decent backing of the surface winds, not great, but that would be enough. There's enough turning of the winds there in that profile to definitely get it done for a tornado, and maybe even a strong one. So this is why I think tomorrow could be impressive, but I think Saturday is going to be the big day this weekend, where we could be looking at potential for tornadoes and maybe even significant tornadoes. And you can kind of see it shift nocturnally for South Carolina. And if there's going to be some really good action going on offshore, and if that's able to come onshore a little bit, we could be looking at a pretty significant tornado threat overnight. In South Carolina, so that will be something to watch, and also southern North Carolina coast. So overall, again, the threats, for severe weather, we're looking at, the whole southern U.S. is at play this weekend for severe weather. So everybody needs to be weather aware, know where your safety place is if you do get a tornado warning or a very significant severe thunderstorm warning, and just be weather aware. Like I said, avoid mobile homes. If you're in one of the higher tornado risks, just be safe. Make sure you don't take your life for granted here. Severe weather can really do damage. So that's going to do it for me. Hope you all have a great night. Peace out.